crew with Guns America, you're never gonna believe who just came out with a new duty pistol. Check this out. Woo! Check this out. This is the Taurus TX9 full-size duty pistol. And here's the craziest part, it works so far. So this is the Taurus TX9, their new duty pistol. So I never thought that I would actually be talking about a Taurus duty pistol, or that I would even say nice things about Taurus, to be completely honest with you, because I honestly haven't had a ton of nice things to say about them in the past, with the exception of the TX22, which I think is one of the best rimfire pistols on the market. I mean, the ergonomics are fantastic. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's that gun you're seeing all over YouTube right now with the FRT trigger that just mows through 22 ammo. So it's very similar ergonomics, feels very similar to the TX22. So what we've got here is a full size, a compact and a subcompact. And this is clear. I'm just going to show you anyway, but this the full size is a 4.5 inch barrel, so pretty standard. Takes a 17 round mag, comes with 2 of them in the box. The compact is a 15 round mag, and it is a 4 inch barrel, and same features. They all share the same features other than size. I told you 15 round mag. And the subcompact is a 3.4 inch barrel, and it's a 13 round mag, and they're available in 10s as well. So these guns were specifically designed by Taurus for military and law enforcement contracts. They actually did NATO testing on these, is what I've been told. They've had their adverse conditions testing with sand, cold weather, all that kind of stuff, and they are approved for the military in Brazil. Now, that's a South American company. It's not quite the same as being approved for the military in the United States. I don't expect that we're going to see the military in the United States adopt these anytime soon, but hey, you never know. Maybe the Coast Guard or the Marines or someone. Who knows, right? But anyway, these are probably the Air Force if we really get serious about this. Okay, so look, these are drop safe. They've got all of the striker style safeties in them. So in the trigger here, you've got it's a flat polymer trigger with the blade safety in it. It is flat. It's actually surprisingly good trigger. Like, I am just happily surprised every time I pull this trigger at how good it actually is. It's a partially cocked falling searing block system, and it's relatively easy to tear down. You simply lock it open, make sure it's empty, spin this little lever down. You guys have seen this trick before. Pull the trigger, drop it off, drop the slide off. I'll show you what this looks like inside in a second, but not before we run through the features. So I have now run over 1,000 rounds through this gun. We made sure that these worked. I didn't put that many rounds through the compact and subcompact, but they shot really good. In fact, this compact is really easy to shoot, in my opinion. It tracks really nicely. I actually really kind of liked it. So I mounted a Trijicon green dot on here. This is their RMO 6G. It's a duty rated red dot for a duty rated pistol. And the one thing about this, there's 2 things that I do not like about this pistol. Number one, it does not ship with optics plates, so you have to buy those separately. You get the whole pack that fits everything for 50 bucks. I'm not sure if they're available separately or not. I guess time will tell. But it mounts right up. The optics system actually works pretty good. It does not co-witness with just stock sights, but it still doesn't sit super high, as you can see. And it is really strong. It held 0. No issues with it whatsoever as far as the optics system. The other thing that I don't like, we'll just get this out of the way, and some of you are going to completely disagree, and this has to do with how I shoot and how I grip a gun, but I don't like the mag release. It sticks out just a hair too far for me. And as a result, sometimes when I am gripping, when I'm really ripping hard, I will grip a little too hard with this support hand, and I can actually release that mag release because I feel like it just sticks out just the tiniest bit too much. So those are my only two actual critiques. Otherwise, the grip feels great. It points very naturally. It's very easy to shoot. It has an excellent trigger. The serrations are sufficient. The recoil is mild, and this thing really truly works. So if you look at this thing closely, you're going to see I got this thing really hot. You can see how dry the slide is. You can see how dry everything inside is. There's not a drop of oil on this. Did not put any on it, and I had 2 malfunctions out of 5, no, more than 5 different types of ammo, because I made sure it worked with self-defense ammo too. But I put a lot of rounds through 5 different types of ammo, 115s all the way through 147s. 2 malfunctions, they're both on camera. Gonna show them both to you. The first one was on the plate rack, and literally I think it was just a bad round that did not have enough energy to cycle the slide, because the slide did not even come back at all. It wasn't like it stovepiped, it was just, there was just no recoil. I actually even mentioned, hey, do I have a squib? And then I remembered, no, the plate did fall down slowly. So it was just a super weak round. So I 1000% think that was ammo fault, right? And it does happen. This is practice ammo. This is range ammo. This is not self-defense ammo that we're shooting with. And so that's kind of a testament to the gun that, hey, it really ran well considering we ran the cheapest ammo we could buy through this. So the other malfunction, I'm trying to remember, was close to the end of the 1,000 rounds. And it was just simply one of those stovepipes. Once again, it could have been weak ammo, could have been the gun is just super dry and needed some oil, but I had one stovepipe, it cleared instantly, and that's it. Out of that many rounds, out of a Taurus, I would not have believed it if I hadn't been here and shot it and done it myself. They're both on camera though, we'll show them both to you. So, full pick rail, this light, this TLR1 light, and by the way, it ran great with the light on there, no malfunctions because of the light. All of these have a pick rail on them. The big one has a full size, but the dust cover goes all the way to the end of the slide, and there's an actual 1913 pick rail, so you can mount a light. All 3 of them have an optics plate. All 3 of them are undercut up under here in the trigger guard. I'm not 100% sure, but this mag release looks like it could be reversed, and if you reverse it, I think, well, actually we should be able to tell. Yeah, look at this. This is going to be fully ambi. You're going to be able to reverse this mag release, and there's a slide release on both sides of the guns, and I'm pretty certain you can switch this button to the other side, and there's holes in the magazine. So I'm going to go ahead and say, because I haven't read this anywhere, no one's told me this, but just by looking at the gun, that this is fully ambi, or that this can be switched to the other side. So let's talk about the grip, the texture, the back straps. So there's 3 back straps that come with these in the box, or maybe there's actually 4. They're slightly different size. I just ran with it what it ships with in the box, and I had no issue. It fit me perfectly. This is a small by the S in there, this is a large, and this is an extra small. So I'm guessing that this is a medium that it ships on the gun with. But I don't know how well you can see with the camera, but this has really got a nice shape to it. The texture is phenomenal. It does not hurt my skin. I mean, I've shot over 1,000 rounds through this, and I don't have any sore spots, no hot spots on my fingers or hands, and yet I don't feel like I had any trouble gripping the gun. I've got no grip powder or grip crap on my hands. I'm just shooting this just as any normal person would. So it feels good to me. The other thing that you should look at is this is a modular gun, so it has a separate fire control unit. You can see there's the serial number in that window. But what that means is that you can pop that out, and Taurus is working on this. They're going to have different grip sizes and different slides available, so you could buy one of these and switch out to a smaller gun, smaller grip, smaller slide. You could mix and match. So this is a modular platform, which I also didn't see coming from Taurus. So, I mean, they're kind of doing all the things that everybody wants to see right now. The sights, so they are steel sights, and these are Glock pattern sights. So if you're going to run irons, in fact, if you're going to run this as duty pistol, you would want to put night sights on this, because these are just steel sights, white dot, and then serration in the rear, but they're steel. I mean, even Glock doesn't put these sights on their gun straight out of the box. So I'm not dissing on Glock at all, but these aren't plastic, and this is a Taurus. Price point, which is what's going to blow your mind, is the same on all of these, and I'm telling you, street price is going to come in under $4. So that's nuts. flat face trigger, undercut, 1913 steel sights, ready to mount optics on. I mean, granted, it doesn't come with the plate, Taurus. Fix that crap. It has a limited lifetime warranty, so what that means is it doesn't cover wear and tear. So if you go out and just wear this thing out by putting 100,000 rounds through it and it's just shot, I mean, they're not going to cover that. But if there's anything wrong with the gun, if there's anything that's the manufacturer's fault, then they're going to cover it. So apparently they are really truly going after the law enforcement market and the military. They want to get some contracts with this gun, and so they went the extra mile. Now let's talk about where it's made. This gun is fully machined and finished in Brazil. Then it is imported in parts and pieces into the United States, where final assembly and final inspections and testing are done here in the United States. This specifically says Bainbridge, Georgia on it, so I'm guessing that that is specifically where they are put together at. But so it's US assembled, US tested, US yeah, I don't know what else you say about that, assembled anyway, but the parts are made in Brazil. A couple other things here on this. There is a witness hole here in the barrel, and normally I would tell you that I don't like that because you get crap that blows out onto the optic window. But because we put no oil on this gun at all to just see if it would run, my window is perfectly clear. As you can see, we've got nothing on it, so it wasn't an issue here on this TX9. But generally speaking, manufacturers, especially when you add a suppressor or you run your gun with some oil on it like you should, get rid of this witness hole so we don't have crap blowing out onto the optic. Put it on the side or something, somewhere besides right there. Suppressor barrels, threaded barrels so you can run some sort of a comp are coming. That will be an option. Yeah, I mean, you guys can see there's nothing even coming off of my finger. This thing is bone dry. Now look, let's just be very specific. I do not normally run my own personal firearms this way, right? It wears on things. It's not necessarily good for them. It's not fair to run them without oil. It'd be like running a car without oil, right? Eventually, you should expect things not to work. However, in this situation, this thing performed like a champ, and it ran the whole 1,000 rounds with no oil, which is a testament to the design, function, parts, finishes, whatever. Now, granted, I don't expect it to run forever without oil, so it should have some oil on it. This is how I generally oil things. I usually put a drop out here on the hood of the barrel. I put a drop on each of these slide rails, and then I drop the slide and I put a drop right here, and I just work that in like that is how I would normally oil guns. So you don't want tons of oil on this, but you should run a little bit of lubrication to expect this to work right. As far as the operating system, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that it is kind of a knockoff of a Walther, like one of the nice Walther pistols. In fact, the trigger and all of the insides look very similar to me to Walther, which is, I mean, honestly, one of the best striker fired pistols out there. The trigger is not as nice as a Walther, but it's also not horrible. I mean, I would say that this is right in the middle for striker fired pistols against the top manufacturers of these as far as triggers. In fact, you know what, I got a trigger gauge. Let's pause for 1 second. Let's just see what the trigger pulls at. So give me 1 sec. All right, so I got a Lyman trigger gauge here. We're just going to see what this pulls at. So just sort of getting that. All right, that was 5 pounds, 10.5 ounces. So that was under 6. Let's give it one more. And 5 pounds, 8 ounces that time. So, I mean, that's 5.5 pounds exactly. Look, it's smooth, it's short. You take up this initial slack, and then you get a pretty good wall, and then it's a pretty clean break, honestly. Like, I really can't complain about it. It's really a pretty good trigger. So, let's talk about accuracy. I got 5 different kinds of factory ammo here. This is the cheap practice stuff. I didn't even test it with the expensive self-defense stuff. I'll run some of that through it and make sure it works. But I just wanted to see kind of what it would do, and I actually didn't expect it to do what it did. So right off the bat, here's the UMC, just ball ammo, 115 grain. I mean, you guys know what this stuff looks like. It's just full metal jacket, round nose. There's 5 rounds through right there. Obviously my dot needs adjusted a little bit. It's hitting to the right. Next up was the PMC bronze 115s, or sorry, no, these are 124s, and that's the group they shot. That might have been me. I didn't call it, but that one flyer could have been. I'm not going to say it wasn't. And of course, you guys know what those look like. And then these are the PMC bronze 147s, and this might be the tightest group of the whole batch. It really liked those, and that's just a round nose 147, but that's 5 shots all in that hole. And remember, I should not be testing anything with red dots because I have a really bad astigmatism. So no matter what I do to these dots, they move all over that screen on me. So I'm kind of just trying to center them up on the square. This was the Norma 124 grain. This stuff, the range and training ammo, 5 shots in that hole. Once again, just straight up full metal jacket stuff. Federal 115 grain. And then this is what I zeroed off of originally, and I adjusted the dot over to the right. And I actually used this ammo, which is why it's more centered up than the rest of these. So that is what it is. 12-yard groups. It's really actually surprisingly better than I thought it would be for a Taurus. All right, guys, final thoughts on the Taurus TX9. Ships with 2 magazines. They're more available, 17 rounders in the full size, 15 and 13. I am not kind of believing that I'm going to say this, but I'm actually pretty impressed with this pistol for the price. Taurus is, I mean, look, this is a sample size of 3, but we had no malfunctions out of the compact and subcompact, 2 out of 1,000 rounds with the full size. One of them certainly was the ammo's fault, like without a doubt. Second one could have been ammo related too. Could have been operator error by not oiling it as well. So all credit due, that is a really, really solid performance. Oh, and I ran, so I actually had extra magazines, and we ran a total of 6 different mags and no issues with all 6 of the mags. So a bigger than normal sample size when it comes to magazines. So mags were relatively easy to load. In fact, look, these are made in Italy by Mekgar. They say it right on them, in case you wondered. So these are decent quality mags, which is probably why they work. So, you know, that's kind of the story. If I end up buying this gun, so just to be clear, I'm not being paid by Taurus, but I do know the marketing director at Taurus, and he asked if we wanted to test these, and I said, sure, why not? So I'm not being paid to test these. This isn't, I don't have any monetary relationship with them. If I want to keep these, I'm going to have to buy them. But if I was to keep this, the only thing I would do is reduce the size of this mag release just a little bit. Otherwise, this thing's ready to rock. So as many of you know, I'm a active prosecuting attorney, and I work with cops. So this might be what I start going and shooting with my cops with, instead of that way when they get beat, they'll feel even worse when they don't shoot as good as I do, because it'll be with a Taurus this time, right? I mean, who thinks that's a good idea? Tell us in the comments what you think. Tell us if you'd buy one of these, try one. I mean, they work. So let's see what other people's experiences with them are. But the price point, the features, pretty tough to beat. Certainly go to GunsAmerica for more info. Appreciate you guys watching. Please like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you on the next video. All right, so now we move back 10 yards. All right, well, there we go. Woohoo! How about that? Oh! Holy crap! 50-yard plate on the plate rack. I hit the guard in front of it. All right, we're gonna give this one more try. Don't know. It's getting dark. Whatever. 10, 20, 30, 40. No problem. 50. Maybe my astigmatism. I'll blame that, like a giant P word.